Good evening and welcome to the September 28th meeting of the Lowell License Commission. Secretary Wynn, was meeting posted?
Yes.
Number one on the agenda, please.
The minutes for our meeting of September 14th, 2017.
Move approval by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? If my colleagues wouldn't mind, I'd like to take a agenda item out of order. Agenda item number 8. Do I have a motion to do so? Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Secretary Wynn?
So what we have is the hearing on an allegation of misconduct as charged by William M. Taylor, the Superintendent of Police, to the License Commission. The letter was dated August 7, 2017, regarding allegations of misconduct against Alexander LLC, doing business as Vibe Restaurant and Lounge, Alexi M. Torres, manager, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee at 179 Central Street. This was an incident of date July 30th, 2017.
Thank you. State your name for the record, sir.
Sure. Attorney Michael Zane for Vibe, and with Alexi Torres, the manager record here.
How are we doing tonight, Counselor?
Great, thank you.
If I may, I've read the complaint, and I will defer to my colleagues on this, but in my opinion, and I'll ask legal counsel for the city what your thoughts are, Mr. Wellick, but to me, it looks as though that Mr. Torres and his staff did just about everything they needed to do in this matter, and unless the police department has a different opinion or the city solicitor has a different opinion, I would make a motion to place this on file.
Second.
Mr. Wellick, your opinion, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that I concur. I think it's my recommendation that it be kept on file.
I appreciate that. Captain Webb?
Mr. Chairman, I wouldn't offer anything to contradict the Commission's use of their discretion. I would be satisfied with that.
I appreciate your suggestions. Thank you both. I would defer to my colleagues and any suggestions, comments, or opinions. Commissioner Howe.
I'm going to support the motion. The only concern would be letting people out in the dark alley. I don't think the altercation that happened after is in any way your client's fault. I just think that letting people out in a dark alley is negligent. So if they get clocked over the head with the crowbar, there's a lawsuit there, but maybe it's not a violation of any of the license commission rules. So I am going to support the motion.
Any further comments? Commissioner Donahue, McCarthy, Krieger? Mr. Torres, on a side note, since the last time you've been in this chamber, it seems like you've conducted business rather well, and that speaks volumes. So just wanted to express my thoughts on that. Made a motion by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy to place this on file. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Appreciate counsel and Captain Webb's input as well.
Proceeding with the next matter before the License Commission is application for a special one-day license to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines only, or either one. Sitting in for Tabitha Garnett, who is the catering manager of Armark, is Nadine Soma. Speaking for the annual Difference Maker celebration, which is scheduled for Wednesday, October 11, 2017, from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at University Crossing at 220 Pawtucket Street. Also, the MTA Grace Union event, which is scheduled for Wednesday, October 25th, 2017, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Alumni Hall, 84 University Ave. And Nadine Sommer is at the rostrum.
Hi,
Good evening. State your name for the record.
Nadine Soma.
How are you tonight, Nadine?
Good, how are you?
Good. Tell us about your event.
So the Difference Maker event is a student-run group that does community service on campus, and every year they do a big, kind of fundraising kickoff event, and that's taking place on October 11th. So they're doing a reception with a cash bar at the University Crossroads.
Okay.
And then the other one is the union on campus has been trying to get better dental, and I guess it went well because they're having a celebration, so.
Fantastic. Questions, comments from the board?
Move approval.
Move for approval by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck with your events.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Proceeding with the next item on our agenda is Javier Barazate of Galleria Cafe. Is he here?
Yes, park in the car.
Okay. I'll
That's fine.
We have Norm Karen of Gallery Z at 167 Market Street is present. He has filed 4 applications. First is an artist reception for Evolution, Saturday, October 14th, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Second is open mic on Friday, October 20th, from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. A brunch on Sunday, October 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the brunch on Sunday, November 12th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Good evening. State your name for the record.
Norman Karen?
Mr. Karen, you've held these licenses before, correct?
Yes, I have.
All right. Questions or comments from the board?
Brunch?
Yes, Sunday brunch.
You going in competition with the Watergate down in Washington?
No.
Just seemed a little strange.
He's just upset that you didn't invite him, Mr. Karen, that's all.
It's a good brunch, you should stop in.
That's fine. Motion by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Howe. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Karen, good luck with your events. You're all set.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Now we have Javier Barazate. Are you here? Yes. Galleria Cafe on Friday. He has a special one-day license for beer and wine for tomorrow evening, Friday, September 29th, for 2 hours, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Galleria Cafe at 366 Merrimack Street, a comedian show.
Good evening.
Good
State your
evening.
name for the record, please.
Excuse me?
State your name for the record.
Javier Barazarte.
Javier, have you held this license before?
Yes,
You have.
yes.
All right.
Fall
Was it
Festival.
at the festival?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
Just wondering the location, 366 is where?
In front, across the street.
I'm sorry?
Across the street.
Right across the street?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
Very close.
Motion by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Javier, you're all set.
Please come by tomorrow morning for the license. Okay, thank you. Following which, we have application for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment. Tom Fitzmaurice of the Greater Merrimack Valley Convention and Visitors Bureau for Night Nation Run 2017. This will be Saturday, October 14th, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. There will be a sound system for electronic music at 3 stages situated on the Riverwalk between the Willette Bridge and the Cox Bridge.
You want to do the other one, Ryan? You want to do the other?
Frederick Smith has filed for a special events permit for amplified sound. He is unable to be with us this evening. He has been ill. He sent me an email earlier today, not well all day. But I'll read off his application. He had filed for the Smith Fest events, which has been an annual event at this time of year. It's noted as the Haunted 5K with the sound system for Haunted Sounds that's to be held Saturday, October 21st from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Shed Park Fort Hill site. I've been informed by Mr. Smith that he does have Border Parks permission to use the grounds for this special event.
Since Mr. Smith isn't here, I would ask Captain Webb for his input, if he has any objection to the granting of that permit.
In past years, we've had no issues with this license, so I would have no objections.
That's fine. Can you just extend to Mr. Smith that he should have somebody here in his stead if he wants to apply again for a permit?
I told him if the commission was not, if there was a policy to have him be, presence of an applicant.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's, like he noted in his email to me, he's not well. So I told him that this matter could be continued to the next meeting, which is October the 19th, which is 2 days before the
That's basically why I asked Captain Webb for his input, and they've seemed to run a good events, but I just don't, I'm sure this board doesn't want to set a precedent by not having anybody stand before us, that's all. So I would just make a note of that to Mr. Smith,
Okay.
that have somebody else in his stead if he wants to apply once again, all right? Good evening, state your name for the record.
Thomas Fitzmaurice.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, tell us about your event.
So I'm here on behalf of Night Nation Run. They put on events all across the country as well as internationally. This is the first-time event for the city of Lowell. This event has been held in the Commonwealth in Brockton, and it was also in Pawtucket. So they use minor league stadiums as a home base for their event. So it's a basically a 5K course along the Riverwalk.
How many runners do you think you're going to have?
They're estimating between 3,500 and 5,500. So,
Captain Webb, everything planned out here?
I haven't seen the permits or the detail arrangements yet, but have no objections.
Okay. Tom, are we going to be speaking with the police department? Sounds like a lot of runners, and just want to
Yep.
make sure we're all set.
yep, certainly. And then I have a map I can forward you if you want to see where the stages are.
As long as the police department is well aware of what's going on,
Sure.
I don't think this board would have any objection. Comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Mr.
Commissioner
Chair-
Donahue.
In the interest of full disclosure, Frederick Smith is a second or third cousin. And I haven't
not
seen him
gonna-
since he was here a year ago for a permit. And I don't feel there's any
No, I
conflict
appreciate
in
it.
my voting on this, but I wanted to let it be known. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Krieger.
Where are all these runners gonna park? Or are you gonna bus them in from Tewksbury or what?
No, they'll be using city garages.
Move approval.
Move for approval by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Howe. All in favor, signify by say aye. Any opposed? Tom, good luck.
Thank you.
All right?
Taking up the next matter of our agenda, we have the application by,
Secretary Wynn, I'm not sure, maybe it was my error. Did we do number 3?
I'm sorry?
Number 3?
Oh, apologize. My apologies. The application for a special one-day license to sell, dispense all alcoholic beverages. Jennifer Smith Sharkey of the House of Hope, Inc., for the 2017 Harvest of Hope benefit event at 98 Smith Street. This will be for Thursday, October 26, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Good evening, state your name for the record.
Hi, Jennifer Smith Sharkey.
How are you, Jennifer?
Good.
Good. I don't remember you being in front of this board. Is this your first time here?
Oh, no, I've been here a couple of times because this is a fundraiser we do every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions for Jennifer?
Move approval.
Move for approval by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Jennifer, good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 5 on our meeting agenda, we have the application by the SAPT LLC. It's a corporate entity doing business as Lowell Liquors, the all-alcoholic beverage package store licensee at 638 Roger Street. For change in beneficial interests is Sanchan Patel and Patik Patel
Yes.
are here representing the licensee.
Well done, Ryan. Well done. Gentlemen, state your name for the record.
Sachin Patel.
Oh, sorry.
Patik Patel.
Okay. I don't have anything in front of me, Ryan. Is everything in order here, or is this a public? It's not a public
There is
hearing?
a party involved in the corporation, the LLC, who is relinquishing her interest, and it is being divided proportionately to there's three other members in the LLC.
Correct.
Has this been sent to the ABCC?
This is a matter that does require local and state approval.
Okay.
And subject to your local approval, I would forward the application to the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission.
Okay.
It's not bringing anyone new, it's just that a person who had financial interest
Yeah.
in the entity from the beginning, when the license was acquired on a transfer, is selling her interest to this gentleman, Sachin Patel, and 2 other business partners.
All right. From our local level, the paperwork is in,
Yes, everything
is fine.
is satisfactory, yes.
Okay. Questions, comments from the board? Motion by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Gentlemen, good luck.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We also have an application by the LLC known as NAI Entertainment Holdings LLC, doing business as Showcase Cinema Lowell, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee at 32 Reese Ave, for change in beneficial interest. Sean Judge is the area manager for Lowell. He is here to represent NAI on this matter.
Good evening. State your name for the record.
Sean Judge.
Sean, what are we doing here?
So we have made some changes, not any changes in the actual ownership of the company or the beneficial interests, but we have in the level of, we have the Showcase Cinema Deluxe here in Lowell, which is owned 100% by NAI Entertainment Holdings. And NAI Entertainment Holdings is owned 100% by National Amusements Incorporated. At the Entertainment Holdings level, we've made changes to directors and officers on the board. And at the National Amusements level, National Amusements is owned by two trusts, Sumner Redstone Trust and Sherry Redstone Trust. And in the Sumner Redstone Trust, we are reporting changes to the trustees. But it is still Sumner Redstone, the sole beneficiary.
Understood. All paperwork in order?
Yes.
Questions, comments on the board? Moved by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All set, Sean.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Sean.
On the backside of our agenda, we have another matter to do with an application. This is for a transfer of the all alcoholic beverages restaurant license presently held by the Vibe Lounge Inc., Steve Zagoras, manager, for premises at 197 Market Street. The application is filed on behalf of Warp and Weft LLC. Eric Faulkner is the LLC manager. Presently, they are working for Mr. Zagoras under the corporate entity, the Vibe Lounge Inc. Legal counsel filed this application, and it would need a public hearing to be scheduled, anticipating the next meeting, October the 19th. In doing so, a legal notice would be published. Does not require abutters to be notified, but does require the publication of a legal, and that would be for Friday, October 6th.
Motion by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy, to schedule a public hearing on October 19th. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Now we come to the agenda item number 9. This is pertaining to a request for pub crawl license for Saturday, October 28, 2017, from the hour of 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the area bounded by Merrimack, Middle, Palmer, and Market Streets, anticipating the following licensees to be involved: the Village Smokehouse at 9298 Middle Street, Alan Kaplan, manager; Blue Shamrock at 105 Market Street, Nick Petrakis, manager; Dudley's 19 Merrimack Street, Matt Murphy, manager; Bar 74 at 7678 Merrimack Street, Lauren DeSalvo is the LLC manager, David Healy is the manager of record. We also have the licensee Revolution 74 Merrimack Street, Lauren DeSalvo is the LLC manager. The organizer of the pub crawl, represented by Nick Morano, who is present, a gentleman by the name of Mike Tecci, who is present. Robert Johnson is also a member of the partnership, but he is not here with us. They are doing business as What's Poppin', and based out of Stoneham, Massachusetts. And What's Poppin' has been announcing its intentions to have the pub crawl, which would be scheduled for Saturday, October 28th, on a Facebook social media site.
Are the organizers here? You step to the lectern, please. You both state your name for the record.
Nick Morano.
Hi, Nick.
Mike Tecci.
Hey, Mike, how are you? Okay, understanding that the city council set an ordinance a few weeks back. So as the organizers, you're applying for the permit with the understanding that the manager of records in all these establishments are the point person for these events. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. Tell us about your event.
goes from 2 to 8 p.m.
Speak into the lectern, please.
It goes from 2 to 8 p.m.
Yep.
Check-in would be at Smokehouse.
Yep.
From 2 to 5 p.m. We'll do Blue Shamrock from 2 to 5 p.m. And then Dudley's Bar 74, which was Mill City, and then the Ballroom. Revolution.
Yeah.
From 5 to 8 p.m.
So you're finishing up at the at Revolution, correct?
Technically, all three venues will go at the same time to
Okay.
allow capacity. Just in case we have overcapacity at one bar, we run from 5 to 8 so that everyone has a place to go.
Okay. Have we spoken with the Lowell Police Department on how this function is going to work?
We've spoken with the bar owners who are willing to do a detail for each bar at that time where they are on the bar crawl.
I see a couple of the managers of record. Come on up, guys. Everybody state their name for the record, please.
David Healy, Bar 74.
Also Revolution, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Attorney Michael Zame here for LCRC, doing business as Dudley's.
Thank you.
Tim Kelleher here for the Smokehouse Tavern.
All right, guys, so we obviously want to make sure we have I's dotted and our T's crossed here on this event. We don't want something to happen from last time, causing a ruckus in the city. What is the plan for police detail? Step right up to the lectern, guys.
Well, since we're going first and we're doing the check-in, we will ask for a police detail.
Yep.
And we will check in with the What's Poppin' people. As the people come in, check them off their list. They always have a guest list. And we'll just make sure there's a detail officer, if available, there watching us go through the process.
All right, Dave?
We intend to put added security on as well as a detail officer.
All right. This has been communicated already to the Lowell Police Department? Not yet. Alan? Timmy? Not? All right. How much are we charging for this event, guys? And what do the people get and all this good stuff?
We typically start tickets at about $5, and we work them gradually up to $20. Average price point about $10, and then as it gets like closer a week to 2 weeks at the event, we boost up the tickets for last comers.
What's the difference between $5 and $20?
It's just incentive to get them earlier rather than sleep on it and not. You save money the earlier you buy the ticket.
I'm sorry. Explain that to me.
It's just a ticket structure that we use with our events. So it's incentive for people to buy tickets.
So there's no added benefit. So if you buy a ticket now for $5, but at the door it could cost you $20.
Yeah. So then at the door it would be $20.
Okay.
Opposed to paying like $15 online before the event, or $10 2 to 3, 4 weeks before the event.
Captain
it's just
Webb,
incentive.
I appreciate your input on this.
Mr. Chairman, the way the ordinance is written, no licensee who has been suspended for 1 day or more within the past year can participate in a pub crawl. And I would defer to Mr. Wynn on this, but I think that would preclude Bar 74 or Revolution from participating in this pub crawl.
Secretary Wynn?
Mr. Chairman, when
Where's City Solicitor Wellock?
Nick Morano came, I'm sorry?
Where's our City Solicitor, Assistant City Solicitor? Where's James Wellock? I'd like his input.
He had to leave.
Continue.
But if I may just speak on the matter of the, Nick Morano, gentleman to your left, with Mike Tecci, came into the office Tuesday afternoon and submitted a request for the pub crawl. At that time, the ordinance was new to him, as it is to each of us. I had mailed the ordinance to Robert Johnson, his business partner, about a week to 10 days before, to allow them to have a chance to review and anticipate this matter. I instructed Mr. Morano that if this was to be on the meeting agenda for this evening, that each of the managers whose business is being used in the Facebook promotion would be here tonight. And I asked him to present to them notice to have them appear. We have several representatives. Lauren DeSalvo could not be here, though she had a doctor's appointment. I received an email from her 2 days ago. Matt Murphy is here. Could not be here. He's out of state. He was not made aware his presence would be required until early this afternoon. Apparently, the word didn't get to them, as I had hoped Mr. Morano would have done on Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning at the latest. Virtue of what Captain Webb is mentioning about the note in the ordinance that an individual licensee who may have been serving a suspension a day or more in the last year may not be participating in this pub crawl. But in a perspective of looking at the Facebook page, I've looked at it a number of times. I'm sure many young people in this area have looked at it and are intrigued by the idea of being able to participate. So all of the potential customers that are coming into the city on this particular day, whether there's a pub crawl license granted or not, they're coming. Mr. Morano, Mr. Cecchi, and Mr. Johnson have basically set it in play. Each of our licensees has a certificate of inspection. Each is compelled by that certificate to have no more than a figure in their certificate, which is known as the occupant load, maximum number of bodies you can have. Off the top of my head, the Village Smokehouse probably has the largest area to accommodate as many as 500 to 700 people in two locations in the premises. Blue Shamrock can accommodate as many as 200 to 300 people on the first and second floor. Dudley's can accommodate as many as 300 to 400 people. Bar 74 can accommodate 160 people. Revolution can accommodate as many as 450 people. With the fact that this Facebook page is out there, and it's been out there for about a month to 6 weeks, to the best of my knowledge, I'm afraid, and I'm sure I speak for the commission in this matter, that you're going to have a volume of people coming into this city, whether the police are prepared or not, or anticipated or not, they're going to be looking for a place to go and to have a fair share of their participation and be respected by the bar owners to allow them to come in. So if Bar 74 is excluded from this pub crawl license or Revolution as well, then so be it. But they're still going to have to deal with patrons if they're open for business.
Okay, I have a question. Captain Webb just pointed out that if an establishment has had a suspension within 1 year, that they cannot apply for this. You just stated that we may or may not grant them. So I guess I'm looking for, is this a yay or a nay?
Well, the question is how you interpret may participate, may not participate. In that sense, it's written in the ordinance. I'm not saying it's a hard and fast rule. I'm just pointing out whether you want to just.
Commissioner Krieger.
All right, so what is the benefit to people who sign up for your pub crawl? What do they get out of it?
So without us putting on the event, there would be no fun, no excitement, a large group of people going out having fun. It wouldn't exist. So we put on a pretty big event. We asked that the bar owners will maybe do some live music, DJ, stuff like that.
So you've put it out to Facebook, so all these people are going to come anyway. and they're gonna have fun and
They
excitement.
wouldn't come anyway if we didn't host the event, though.
So I
We,
guess.
we pay to advertise our events
Yeah.
so that it gets out there to hundreds of people.
Right.
Without us organizing, coming here today,
Yeah,
advertising, putting money in, we'll also like buy some props. Like if it's Halloween, we'll buy some cool Halloween stuff, maybe decorate, decor, stuff like that. We do put some time and money and effort into this
I understand that.
behind the
And
scenes. But without it, the event wouldn't exist. Hundreds of people wouldn't be going out.
do you understand this board's reluctance because of what it transpired in this city earlier?
Yes.
And right off the get-go, first off, I don't see Mr. Petrakis from the Shamrock. And that was your responsibility to have. I see Mr. Keller and Mr. Healy here.
It's
but
tough for us to get a hold of these bar owners, like you said we had from Tuesday.
Bad answer.
Most bars,
Bad answer.
we've tried calling, reaching out to the bars and the bar owners, but it's pretty tough. I mean, you can contest that we've reached
How
out.
can it be, how can it be difficult when the amount of income that they're gonna have that day, they wouldn't be receptive? And we see two manager of records right here, and Mr. Zame is representing Mr. Murphy.
We haven't had contact with them in the past, though. As you know, on the past bar crawls, we just kind of organized it. We don't have their point of contacts with the actual owners.
So you're having it at their establishment, and you haven't had communication with them? Is that what you're telling me?
They kind of just know because over the years we've been doing it.
I don't have that.
In the past. This year, we've, tried to reach out.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't have a warm and fuzzy feeling right now. I'll defer to my colleagues. Commissioner Krieger?
It seems to me that advertising before you have the license is presuming you're gonna get the license.
We haven't
And
advertised it yet on Facebook.
You put it out on Facebook?
We have a Boston bar crawl advertised on Facebook currently.
So there has
We do it
been
in Boston as
nothing
well.
advertised anywhere about this pub crawl. Nobody knows about it except us and the absent bar owners.
We have the event organized on our ticketing platform, but we haven't advertised it online.
All right, so someone going to your ticketing platform will or will not find it.
I can show you on our Facebook. We haven't advertised. This is our ticketing. This is on Eventbrite. This is our ticketing website that we use for ticketing, but we haven't launched the event on Facebook yet.
All right, I think that
Since we
I
heard about,
probably speak for at least most of us here. We're sensitive about this.
I understand.
And there's a new ordinance out, which I don't know if you've read or not.
Yep, we read through it. We're trying to do our best to comply with you
that,
guys to make it.
That we want you to come to us before anything leaks out.
Okay.
I feel very strongly about that. Mr. Chairman, I would say that we should approve it, but based upon the ordinance, although I think they've been doing a good job recently, Bar 74 and Revolution, my kudos to them for getting their act together. I don't think we can include them in this.
Commissioner Donahue?
I'm agreeing with both the captain and Mr. Krieger. Reading this ordinance, which was put together by the city council, I don't think that we have any right to go against the city council's wishes. And I'm strongly urging that we issue the license, pub crawl license for Smokehouse, Blue Shamrock, and Dudley's. It's pretty clear in my reading of the city ordinance that anyone with a suspension of 1 day or more in the previous year cannot participate. And I'm going to vote that they not be part of the participating pub crawl license. Thank you.
Commissioner Howe?
This is the first time that we've been confronted with this issue, and we didn't have anything to do with writing this ordinance. This number 3, where no establishment who's had a suspension for 1 day or more may participate, it doesn't give us any discretion, unfortunately.
The rule's the rule.
if we know everyone has a detail and they have a coordinator and the organizer is in control, but the ordinance, which, again, none of us wrote, it gives us no discretion, so I would vote yes for the pub crawl for all, because if everyone's having a detail and there's gonna be a lot of safety issues, but it just doesn't give us any discretion, unfortunately, and I don't know if the city solicitor's not here, but I would think that, I don't know if the ordinance can be amended to give us discretion, because it's really taking away our discretionary, because 1 day suspension is not that much. So anyway, that's my comments, and I'm willing to support the license.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to speak up there at this point, before I make a suggestion? Good.
I just had a couple suggestions, and I was on the, Mr. Murphy apologizes, he was, out of town, and got the message to get over to me today. But a couple things that kind of arose out of last time I think might be helpful this time, and Mr. Murphy's suggestion to me this afternoon was, he is anticipating having a detail, and I know the last time they had an issue with how many people were in each room. He's also anticipating perhaps a firefighter be on duty as well as part of a detail for his establishment. And the other thing that they were concerned with is that the possibility of having, at the expense of the promoter, having the promoter hire, similar to the way they do in the downtown area later at night on weekends, that they hire like a downtown patrol, 3 or 4 officers, that would be helpful, because you're having large crowds of people going from one side of the street to the other side of the street and lining up to get into places as they're waiting, as they all go from one place to the other. So he thought that would be something that might be beneficial to the overall operation by, at their expense, hiring additional patrols for the downtown area during the pub crawl.
I want to, on the heels of what Commissioner Howe just said, and with all due respect to our city council, it would have been a nice gesture on the city council's part through the city solicitor's office to include us when they were writing this ordinance, but be that as it may. And once again, Assistant City Solicitor Wellock is not here, but I'm wondering if we could bring this before the city council at their next meeting, of asking for an amendment of sort that, and I agree with Commissioner Howe wholeheartedly, is that when we are talking about 1-day suspension, it really isn't something that we want to take money out of their pockets in an event like this. So I would ask, through you, Secretary Wynn, that we bring a motion to the city council chambers for next Tuesday, and if I need to be there, or any of this member of the board has to be there, I would do that, to speak for, and ask that an amendment be made that, under the discretion of this board, that we could approve a permit, be that, if there is a suspension during the year, it would be the discretion of this board to grant or not grant that permit. So if we could make sure that Mr. Gary in the city clerk's office gets that motion. Does anybody else have anything further?
I'll
Commissioner
speak
Howe?
to the, okay.
You second the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question. Are we delaying the vote on this until our
Well,
next meeting?
I'm in agreement with you also, Commissioner Donahue, that we grant the license to the 3 that have not been suspended, and wait till next week for the other ones. And hopefully that, once again, as Commissioner Howe has pointed out, our hands are tied here. That's what the ordinance says.
Right.
So I would ask a little bit of latitude from the city council, that they at least hear our concern.
I would vote in favor of the 3.
Yes.
At this time. And
So I have a motion by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Howe, that we approve the licenses for the establishments that have not been suspended within the year. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr.
Commissioner McCarthy.
I also think that the promoter should be responsible to have at least 3 police officers hired by them to oversee this operation, because this is going to be a big numbers here. And I also think that the promoters should meet with the police department and organize through them also. And Captain's right here, and he can say, you can get in touch with the captain, he'll help you out. But I think it's your responsibility to do that.
Excuse me, how many details would you like in the streets?
I think you should have at least 3. You expect big numbers?
For this one, at this point, we have about 30 days to promote the event, so we're hoping to expect at least around 800. Typically, when we do it 3 to 4 months out, we can do numbers around 1,500. But we could probably do between 500 and 800, safely to say. That's probably my guess on.
I'm in total agreement with Commissioner McCarthy on this, is that a few days before this event, that you contact Captain Webb or his designee and map out a plan, because now you got me a little, if we are talking 800 to 1,200 people here, if I'm not mistaken, I think we were at 500 or 600 in the last pub crawl, that we could looking at double. We better make sure we have our ducks in a row, because if this gets out of hand, there'll never be another pub crawl.
I'll put that in form of a motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Motion by Commissioner McCarthy that the organizers of this event meet with the Lowell Police Department and to map out details for the event. And that's seconded. Do we have further discussion on that? Commissioner Donahue.
We're going to vote on the the 3?
Yes, and it was seconded by Commissioner Howell. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Any opposed? Yes, go right ahead.
Can I talk to these guys for 2 minutes? We just take a 2-minute pause. I just have a concern that if Bar 74 is not involved, what happens to the smokehouse at 5 o'clock and everyone leaving, and whether they're coming back or what they're going to do?
Like, if we'd have to readjust the...
If we have to readjust the timetable, I don't know at 5 o'clock if the police can come in and say, hey, the pub crawl at your place ends at 5.
You can definitely work with them on that. We're just at the point where we're going to grant you the license. So any other details that you need to, that's a sidebar for you. But
what happens if the pub crawl is still in the smokehouse at 5:05?
I don't see a problem with that.
Okay. So you can...
Maybe I'm not understanding you, Tim.
I guess my concern is that we now have a promoter's license and a license for a pub crawl that says the smokehouse is getting from 2 to 5, and that at 5:30, if the pub crawl goes on, someone can walk in and say, hey, your license is only from 2 to 5.
So make it 2 to 6?
Well, I mean, that's what I would talk to them about, is whether just to go from 2 to 8, so we're not worried about it.
I mean, I wouldn't worry yourself, so make sure you have the hours so you're fine. Captain Webb, do you have any input on that?
Mr. Chairman, I would think that if an establishment is being licensed for the pub crawl, they'd be licensed for the entire
duration of the
pub
time,
crawl.
right?
It doesn't make any difference to the police department.
Yeah, cover you.
Someone's there an hour later or 2 hours later or whatever, as long as it's...
If it's from
during
2
the
to
same
8,
event.
we'll give a license for 2 to 8. I mean,
Okay.
this way it covers all the bases.
Right. One of the other questions is what happens if a pub crawl walks into the bar and we don't know about it? Are we supposed to let them in or stop them?
It's none of this board's concern.
Mr. Chairman.
You're gonna have the detail and the security there. That's your decision.
I mean a random pub crawl.
I'm not following you, Tim.
If a random pub crawl walks in, are we supposed to stop them or let them, or allow them in?
How would you know they were a random pub crawler?
It happens all the time in downtown Lowell. You get 50 people that will walk in a pub crawl that don't know enough to get a license, and if something happens, then what happens to the establishment?
Secretary Wynn, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
With all due respect to Mr. Kelleher, and these licensees have their responsibility, whether there's a pub crawl or not. I'm just trying to make a point like I just mentioned earlier. They have an occupant load that they have to adhere to, can't exceed it. Now, there has never been a discussion with the License Commission of the Wednesday before Thanksgiving in all of my years with the board. But Wednesday before Thanksgiving is known as a very popular night out for young men and women to go downtown Lowell and to go into licensed establishments. And each and every establishment has an occupant load they cannot exceed. Pub crawl is just another event like the night before Thanksgiving, and I think these licensees have to respect the rules and regulations of the License Commission and the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission. Overservice is not acceptable. They have to respect these patrons. If they're going from establishment A to B to C to D, I don't know how many drinks they can be served and not somebody pick up on the idea that they've been overserved. And this is where everybody's responsible for. So if Mr. Kelleher wants to know if he has to move people out at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, he should know that if he sees somebody that looks like he's had one or too many drinks, it's time he moved them out, whether it be 5 or 6 or earlier. So I think that's the point. I think the way this matter was submitted to the office earlier this week was open-ended. The only way we know that there may be some hours defined is what you see on a Facebook, which Mr. Tecci disavows as being part of their promotion. So there's a lot of miscommunication going on from the end of from the perspective of the organizer in dealing with the licensed establishments. I think this is an opportunity for this commission to review it and to see where there could be problems. You have a meeting scheduled on October 19th. Maybe this is a matter that should be continued to October 19th for further discussion and review. In the meantime, Mr. Tecci and Mr. Morano and Mr. Johnson should sit down with Captain Webb before October 19th and iron it out, even though that you know, in fact, what's coming down.
Commissioner Krieger.
Yeah, deferring doesn't seem to work with the advertising plan of what's popping, but I think that when we approve, which I'm anticipating we will, this license for Village Smokehouse, Blue Shamrock, and Dudley's, that it's incumbent upon what's popping to make sure that Bar 74 and Revolution are not included in any of the advertising. We're not going to shut them down for the day. They're still going to be able to take patrons. People will wander in there. I think that's fine. But it's incumbent upon what's popping to make sure that in no way is it implied that they are part of this pub crawl. The pub crawl is a 3-base operation, not a 5-base operation. If between now and the 19th, I think Mr. Wynn said, we get permission to show some flexibility, I think we can readdress that issue. But that's my view on this.
Commissioner Donahue.
Just to address Mr. Kelleher's concerns, I think maybe you're going to be lucky and a couple of people are going to meet friends and that had started out and they're going to spend their evening at your establishment. And I don't see a problem with that because I don't think it's mandatory that everybody start at 1, go to 2, go to 3. Maybe you can convince customers that you've got the best drinks and the best food and they're going to stick around with you, and I see no problem with that.
Perfect.
Okay?
All right, Commissioner McCarthy.
I also think in the future, you need a license before you put this out.
Yep, 100%.
I think that's part of the whole problem here. That this was put out before,
Good point.
before you had your license.
Better understanding now and 100%. agree.
Thank you.
It's a learning process still for us, and we'll definitely abide in the future.
Okay. Well, there was already a motion passed that we would grant it for those 3 establishments. It was seconded, and the vote was unanimous. Once again, I would strongly urge that we get in touch with the city clerk's office, put a motion on for the city council to vote on, and ask for discretion as it pertains to the ordinance. Discretion on the commission, the license commission, on how we can approach licenses. If any member of this board needs to be at that meeting or not, please let us know, all right? But I think we'll leave it as that. And I believe there was was there, Commissioner McCarthy had made the motion about the plan to meet with the Lowell Police Department. Did we vote on that? I'm sorry. Was there a second, and did we vote on that? Because I want to make sure that there's something put forward that they have to meet with the Lowell Police Department.
If not, I second.
You seconded, so all in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, that's
And
good.
also, Mr. Chairman, they have to hire 3 police officers.
That's correct. So can you make that, amend the motion?
Want that on?
Making that, amend the motion that the police detail be there as well. All in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Using my discretion, I move adjournment.
I think we're good, unless, before, any other questions from any of the gentlemen up there? So we know where we're at right now, all right? We'll ask the city council. So if the city council approves or not approves, I think it's a good idea that What's Poppin' be here for our next meeting. So we're clear on what is and what isn't happening, okay? Does everybody agree with that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I just hope, we'll bring up the whole subject of the, at the next meeting.
That'll be
of the
fine.
pub crawls.
Are we good, Secretary Nguyen?
Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Everyone have a good evening.